National Assembly transmits 2022 budget to President Buhari for assent. Asia Pacific stocks mix as investors monitor Omicron variant development. Oil firms near highest since late November on risk appetite. Plus, gold steady as weaker treasury yields balance improved risk appetite. This is Business Express reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us at this particular point in time, and I will say compliment of the season. I will start by telling you that the National Assembly has transmitted the 2022 budget to President Buhari for assent. Last week, the House of Representatives and Senate passed the appropriation bill on Tuesday and Wednesday. The two chambers increased the budget spending by 735.8 billion naira from the proposed 16.391 trillion naira to 17.126 trillion naira. They also raised oil benchmark from $57 per barrel proposed by executive to the $62. And moving on, the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing says about 8 federal highways were completed by the federal government this year, while 10 others are projected for completion in the second quarter of 2022. This was also gathered that 5 of the completed 8 highways had already been inaugurated and handed over to various states and communities where the projects were located. The ministry says that the road projects were basically funded through budgetary allocations and Sukuk funds.
What's done with the roadworks? We are doing the bridges across the Kaduna River. It's an engineering job. The piling work has been completed. We're working on the decking. So we're hoping that at the rate we are going, that road should be completed. We are commissioning Shuaring Azare. We have commissioned Sokoto Tambuwal. We have commissioned Vandekia Obudu. We have commissioned the Enugu, part of Enugu Port Harcourt Expressway. So really going forward, you'll be seeing a lot of commissioning.
And the World Bank says Nigeria and other emerging economies have to think twice before raising electricity tariffs, as such steps will push inflation in 2022. In its latest commodity markets outlook forecast, the World Bank indicated that price of electricity, which peaked at 80% higher this year compared to 2020, will remain high next year. Chief Economist and Director of the World Bank's Prospects Group, Ehan Coase, said the surge in energy prices poses significant near-term risks to global inflation and, if sustained, could also weigh on growth in energy-importing countries. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has adopted a new policy on agricultural technology and innovation for the country's agricultural development. Musa Aliu reports that the policy is to be implemented from 2022 to 2025.
These are a group of women farmers in Kano State learning how to use heavy-duty farming equipment to enhance their output. Operating the machine is not as easy as other local equipment. but is faster and can cover a large area in a short period of time. And the guideline for the use of technology and innovation introduced by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is to support smallholder farmers like these women. The policy, unveiled by the Minister of State for Agriculture, Mustafa Babashehuri, is to enhance access to improved inputs and linkages amongst research and teaching institutions, as well as improve on the level of agricultural mechanization.
It also gives adequate attention to fisheries, value chain, particularly the artisanal fisheries, with the aim of reducing the import to meet domestic consumption.
It is observed that the policy strategies have been redefined to also focus on the establishment of cottage industries and agro-processing zones for priority commodities.
Will take into consideration the National Agricultural Technology Innovation Policy focus designed to revamp and revolutionize Nigerian agriculture through injection of knowledge, technology, and innovation.
Agriculture takes place in the states naturally, and obviously the policy needs the buy-in of the states to be fully adopted, and we sincerely hope that the views and suggestions by the various stakeholders will be incorporated in the emerging policy.
In the meantime, the National Biosafety Management Agency says it's keeping a guard against any form of introduction or importation of any kind of genetically modified crops without permission. The Director General of the agency said the federal government has so far approved the commercialization of genetically modified maize and beans.
The approval of genetically modified maize known as stellar maize. This maize has the genes that are for drought tolerance, for insect resistance.
Production, processing, and marketing of any kind of genetic materials is prohibited without approval from the National Biosafety Management Agency. Musa Aliyu.
Now let's see a graphic summary of some major commodities. And now, global flows of foreign direct investments have been severely hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, they fell by 1/3 to $1 trillion, well below the low point reached after the global financial crisis a decade ago. Foreign direct investments to Africa fell by minus 15.6% to $39.8 billion. Nigeria raked in $2.4 billion. How did the country fare in attracting the needed investment in 2021 is our focus on the program. And joining me is the CEO, Nairozi Kingsley Eze. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it's no longer news that the global economy has been battered by COVID-19. A lot of countries are getting to recover, and Nigeria is not left behind this recovery process. And in recovering, when the lockdown was eased off, we saw our leaders and other investment interests going outside the country to attract investment. How would you assess this investment announcement as well as the partnership that has been ongoing in the year 2021 that is winding up?
Okay, thank you. Nigeria has seen a very drastic reduction in foreign direct investments, just like the rest of the world. But what I can say personally is that it was not as bad as predicted by the experts. We saw our economy improving point over point, and you see the president going out for foreign direct investment. One thing that works to our favor as a country is the sheer population that we have. So I believe that those foreign direct investment is still going to yield like direct improvement in our national economy.
Okay, like you mentioned, the president did not waste time in reaching out. We had partnerships with the Arab Emirates. You have the Saudi Arabia trip. You had him going to Turkey recently. You had the Dubai Expo, as well as all these partnerships. How very important are they in attracting this investment? And do you see responses by our partners out there actually ready to come in and invest capital in Nigeria?
Yes, I see a very a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't seem like it, but in this case, I'm very, very optimistic because we see the whole world, Nigeria not excluded, trying to move away from oil. We see the oil and gas sector, the gas revolution that you see currently being championed by the current administration. You see other improvement in the tech sector. You see young Nigerians, especially, you go to Lagos in finance, fintech, and the rest of it. Lots of foreign direct investment are flowing into the country because, Nigeria is trying to diversify its economy, move away from oil, and prepare for the near future.
Okay, in preparing for the near future, I understand that capacity is key. If you have the capacity, you'll be able to attract investors to come and partner with you. It should just be a partnership thing and not you being handed over something on a platter of gold. With this investment announcement that we've seen, what is our own role in ensuring that these investment announcements become reality?
To make it a reality, I think the country is ready. First thing is the political will from the government, which we currently have on the table. So we have taken care of that. And again, optimism from Nigerians to believe in the country and believe that there's a bright future ahead of us. We have to build a nation. It takes you and I to build a country. And that translates to a vibrant economy. So when it comes to making this thing a reality, I'll first of all talk of the political will and also having a very conducive environment for business. Most investors want their investment to be secure. Obviously, national security is a hot topic at the moment. So investors want to be sure that the country is stable politically and their investment is also secured. So security is also a very paramount parameter on the table to make sure that these things come into reality.
So talking about a conducive investing environment, apart from the security you talked about, how would you rank our ease of doing business in Africa and in the world? Are we doing well? If we are not, what else do we need to do to make it better?
Okay. Currently, there's huge room for improvement. But looking at the track record, Nigeria has moved from, I think, 146 to currently we are on 131 out of 190 nations ranked according to the ease of doing business. And ease of doing business has to do with a whole lot of things. How is it easy for you to open up a business in Nigeria? How is it easy to contract with the government? How is it easy to pay for taxes? And we are seeing, like, for example, CAC opening up a business. You can see that you can log onto the portal these days. You don't have
from the comfort of your room.
From the comfort of your
start to finish.
From start to finish. So obviously there's already a drastic improvement. But like I said, there's still room for more. Nigerians, we need to come up with policies that aid, entrepreneurship, help startups to grow, have an investment fund that makes, entrepreneurship beautiful and rewarding, because if you empower entrepreneurs to go out there to create businesses and there's support for them, then it's easy for a national economy to expand, because obviously it's the middle class that expands an economy. So SMEs are very, very integral when it comes to ease of doing business.
Okay, let's take a look at the investable sectors in Nigeria. We see, following this investment announcements, the energy sector is one key sector investors are interested in. There is also the solid mineral sector, and some other non-oil sectors. What other sectors do you think can be investable in Nigeria to attract more investment?
Personally, my company Niraxi, we're into logistics and transportation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we make mobility accessible to all Nigerians. So transportation, movement of people from from point A to point B is a key sector that you can't. Because if you look at
How about investments in this sector? Because transportation was one key sector that contributed, aside ICT, to the recovery that we are witnessing. Because during lockdowns, goods and services, goods particularly, and people, it was not easy getting things moved from one point to another. What are you doing? What investment are you attracting in this sector to ensure that it further opens up to get it much more efficient and timely?
Okay, transportation. What we're doing different as a company, Nairaxi, we have a mobile app, and we have our branded taxis that from the comfort of your home, you can request for a ride from point A to point B. We're integrating both your regular tricycle, both your luxury SUVs and the rest of them into one value chain to make sure that it's accessible and we can scale it. Means that 200 million Nigerians can have access to the services that we offer. So that's scalability.
Is it basically in country, or you have partnership from outside the country?
Nairaxi, from the name, is all Nigerian, homegrown mobile application made for Nigerians by Nigerians. Actually, this would be a national export from us to the rest of the world.
Wow. Are you planning to take advantage of the African continental market?
Yeah,
or you're just starting off
we have invite from other African countries, but we want to really establish ourselves in the country. And yes, Nairaxi is everywhere.
Wow. Well, before I let you go, how about diaspora remittances? How can that help the investment environment in Nigeria?
One thing that Nigeria has is we have lots of our people abroad. Go to the US, we're one of the most educated ethnic group in the US. Same thing in the UK and the rest of the world. So we have a very huge resource to tap from the diaspora. So at the last investment summit that held at the State House, we were all about making sure that the people in diaspora are comfortable sending their money to Nigeria for investment. So it has to do with also policies and the political will. Come up with programs that encourages, like what they are doing currently at NIDCOM. They have this investment for real estate. So if you're abroad, you can send money through NIDCOM. They help you match you up with good real estate companies so that you can have properties in Nigeria. You also see other
real estate business is big business.
Yes, real estate is a big business.
Thank you so very much, CEO Nairaxi. Is it Nairaxi or Nairaxi?
Nairaxi.
Nairaxi. Kingsley Eze.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point in time and being hopeful that our investment environment will keep improving by the day.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for having me, sir.
You're welcome. Well, next is the global commodities market. Asia Pacific stocks mix as investors monitor Omicron variant developments. Bosede Abel brings us up to speed.
Hello and welcome to the Global Market Review. Global investors are looking for a Santa Claus improvement to close out the year. U.S. stock futures tick higher in early trade Wednesday, following a mixed session as traders continue to assess the threat of the Omicron COVID-19 variant. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average were up 0.19%. S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite also traded on a positive note. Shares in Asia were mixed as investors also assessed the impact of Omicron COVID variant. Chinese stocks led losses among the region's major markets, with Shanghai Composite down 0.91% across 3,597. Hang Seng Index dipped 0.83% at 23,086.54, and the Nikkei also depreciated 0.56% across 28,906.88. European stocks pushed higher Wednesday as holiday-themed trading continued in the region. London FTSE was up 1.10% at 7,453.15. CAC 40 top 0.02%, while DAX dipped 0.17%. For markets in Africa, it was a positive trend for Tunisia's Tunidex, Namibia's overall index, and South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40, while Nairobi's All Share and Ghana's GSE Composite remained muted. That's the Global Markets Review. I am Bosede Abel.
Thank you, Bosede. And moving on, a lot has happened in Nigeria's digital space in the year 2021 as the federal government is doing everything possible to make the country a technologically driven economy. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson brings us major highlights of events by the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy in the year under review.
It appears one can't really talk about the nation's relatively flourishing digital space without mentioning the year 2020, which brought about increased attention turned to the sector for ease of navigating the coronavirus pandemic times. It is no longer news that in the same year, the sector soared on the GDP of the country as it recorded the fastest growing sector of the economy, a feat which many say gave 2021 a promising look. But just as the new year under review was being welcomed, the incessant cases of insecurity in Nigeria, among other issues, necessitated the need for the ICT sector to once again rise to the challenge of proffering digital solutions, which saw the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, fast-tracking the exercise of NIM-SIM linkage. The Commission, as at December 2021, says it has so far issued 70 million unique NINs.
In this digital era, that you need a mobile phone, you need also a digital account, and then the identity is the foundation that determines the people that will also make the digital economy works properly.
The issue of fifth generation, also known as 5G, was also identified as critical to the digital Nigeria's quest. The Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy doubled efforts in consultations and research to ascertain the suitability of the technology in the country. A mock and main auction of 5G spectrums were held respectively by the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) ahead of the deployment come 2022. The year also witnessed increased collaborations and inauguration of multiple digital economy projects.
If you look at the statistics, only ICT sector has the growth rate of double digits. Most of the other sectors, even the growth rate is single, but in our own case, double-digit growth. All these things are really encouraging. And in 2022, our plan is to consolidate the achievement of the previous years and also try to see how we can increase our contribution to GDP, how we can provide the digital skills to our citizens, and how we can make our digital economy to be the greatest, not only and the biggest, not only in Africa but including other continents.
With our 160.593 billion 2022 budget for the ministry and plans on top gear for the deployment of 5G technology in the first month of the year, there are indications that 2022 also looks promising for the communications sector. Joseph Johnson.
That does it on today's episode. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on AT's channel. Business Express returns Thursday at 9:30 a.m. I am Benny Adams saying, stay safe.